Lactose intolerance is a common digestive condition where the body cannot properly digest lactose, the natural sugar found in milk. This happens when there's not enough lactase, the enzyme that breaks lactose down into its component galactose and glucose in the small intestine. Without enough lactase, lactose passes undigested through the small intestine and it's later digested by bacteria in the large intestine, but this process releases gas as a byproduct, causing bloating, stomach cramps and diarrhea, typically within a couple of hours after consuming dairy. It's important to note that lactose intolerance is not an allergy and does not involve the immune system. It's uncomfortable, but not dangerous. From a biological standpoint, most mammals naturally lose the ability to digest lactose after weaning, and for much of human history, this was also true for people. In fact, for most of the global population today, lactose intolerance is still the norm. However, in certain populations, particularly those with a long history of dairy farming, such as in Northern Europe, East Africa, and parts of the Middle East, a genetic adaptation emerged that allowed lactase production to continue into adulthood. This is known as lactase persistence. This adaptation is thought to have developed around 7,000 to 10,000 years ago when humans began domesticating animals and consuming their milk. In these groups, being able to digest milk provided a nutritional advantage, especially in times when other food sources were scarce. As a result, lactase persistence became more common in those populations. Today, whether someone is lactose intolerant often depends on their genetic background. For example, lactose intolerance affects a majority of adults in East Asia, West Africa, and indigenous communities, while it's less common in populations of Northern European descent. Understanding this helps when accommodating dietary needs. While lactose-free or dairy-free alternatives, like plant-based milks, are appreciated, remember that cross-contact isn't harmful for someone with lactose intolerance. They'll just want to avoid enough lactose to prevent symptoms. This differs from milk allergy, where even small amounts can be dangerous. Lastly, different dairy products contain different amount of lactose. Milk has about 5 grams of lactose per 100 grams, while butter contains 10 to 15 times less, which is why many people with lactose intolerance can tolerate small amounts of butter without symptoms. When it comes to cheese, anything aged longer than 6 months contains very low to virtually no lactose, because the lactose is broken down into lactic acid by bacteria during the aging process. That's why milk tastes sweet, while aged cheddar or parmesan taste tangy. Some soft cheeses, like traditional French brie and gorgonzola, are also made using lactic acid bacteria, and despite not being aged as long, they often contain minimal lactose as well. In fact, gorgonzola DOP has such low levels of lactose that it's now marketed as lactose-free. When speaking with guests about their dietary needs, it's helpful to understand these differences, but always check with them directly. Many people still choose to avoid all dairy, regardless of lactose content. Lastly, beware, as lactose can be found in unsuspected products, as it is sometimes used as a stabilizer or to enhance flavor. For example, most chorizo and many reconstituted meats, like bratwurst, can contain lactose. Milk allergy is a common food allergy, especially in children, where the immune system reacts to proteins in cow's milk, such as casein and whey. It can cause a range of symptoms from mild, like hives or stomach cramps, to severe, such as vomiting, swelling, breathing problems, or anaphylaxis. This is different from lactose intolerance, which does not involve the immune system. People with a milk allergy must avoid all dairy products, including milk, cheese, butter, yogurt, and any foods containing milk ingredients like caseinate, whey, lactose, or ghee. Even small traces can trigger a reaction, so strict avoidance and preventing cross-contact in kitchens are essential. It is extremely important to check the label of any packaged food not made in our kitchens, as milk can be contained in a wide variety of products in the form of casein, whey, milk proteins, or milk solids.